Good evening, I am Momudu Gajaga and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Thank you for joining us. And now here are the main local business and sports news headlines. Following the commencement of the construction of roads ahead of the 2022 OIC Summit, QTV visited parts of the project to see the progress registered so far and speak to those involved in and public opinion. 40 legal staff of the Ministry of Justice on Tuesday began a 4-day training on international criminal law and international human rights law. We look at the beautiful paintings and house decorations by a 29-year-old painter from Sukuta, which caught the eye of many after his work went viral on social media. And in business news, after 128 years of operations in the Gambia, Standard Chartered Bank has announced plans to exit the Gambia for larger markets for substantial profits. We hear from the bank's Chief Executive Officer about the exit process. Also in business news, we look at horses and donkeys at the critical roles they play in supporting people's livelihoods in farming and transportation of people and goods in the North Bank region. And in sports news, we find out who Gambia will face in the qualifying for the next Africa Cup of Nations to be held in Ivory Coast. Those were the main news headlines, and now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. Following the commencement of the construction of roads ahead of the 2022 OIC Summit, QTV visited parts of the project to see the progress registered so far and speak to those involved and public opinion. More in this report by Ajibintu Drame.
As the number of vehicles increased, mobility has long been a problem for commuters and drivers in the Greater Banjul area due to the poor main road network and an absence of good feeder roads. To address this challenge, the road project is one of the crucial priorities of the OIC Gambia project. The project carries a lot of expectations of an upgrade and improvement in the road network. 20 new urban roads will be constructed across the Greater Banjul area, and the Batil-Hardin Highway will be expanded into a modern dual carriage road with 2 lanes on each side with a pedestrian walkway. Fali Fadera, Head of Brand and Communications of the Gambia OIC Secretariat, addressed doubts about the timely completion of the project.
If the summit is going to take place this year in the Gambia, definitely the work will not be finished before the summit because the duration of this project is about 24 months. So 24 months certainly will go beyond 2022. So our hope and our plan is to make sure we do as much as we can, cover enough grounds before the summit comes. Wherever the summit comes, we stop there, do the summit, and then after the summit we continue.
Given the Gambia's appalling road traffic accident and death statistics, Fadera confirms that work has advanced to 15% into the project, adding that road safety is a significant part of the project.
This is going to be a standard one. It is not going to be anything short of international standards. And by that what I mean is there will be mechanisms in place to ensure road safety of commuters and people that will be using the road. I am sure we will have all those facilities on the highway like zebra crossings and things of that sort, things that will make sure that, you know, the road that is meant to be a convenience, a road that is meant to facilitate movement for the people doesn't become a dead trap for them.
The OIC Roads project is expected to assist in improving the tourism infrastructure and thus provide a boost to the local economy, ease mobility for road users. Ibrahim Kamara, taxi driver, expressed excitement about the progress of the work as it will lessen the traffic hassles and boost their job.
Accident Gambia because of
I am praying to Allah to reduce the road accidents in the Gambia. If the roads are free and wide, this will reduce the rate of accidents. For us drivers, our only wish is to have free and wide routes to ease plying our trades and reduce vehicle breakdowns causing hold-ups.
Serene Falu Fal, a resident of Senju Alaji, also shared his thoughts on the progress.
The completion of the road will ease traffic congestion and lessen the burden on people. I believe it will lead to fast-moving traffic, thereby making a huge difference to us road users.
The 24-month road construction project is part of the preparation for the forthcoming organization of Islamic Cooperation Summit, scheduled for Banjul in 2022. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
40 legal staff of the Ministry of Justice on Tuesday began a 4-day training on international criminal law and international human rights law. The training is supported by the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa. Lole M. Camara tells us more.
The objective of the training is to strengthen and build the capacity of the ministry's legal staff for effective delivery in the ongoing transitional justice process. According to the organizers, the training will prepare the legal staff who will be assigned the task of gathering evidence, leading investigations and prosecutions of serious crimes recommended by the TRRC. Dauda Ejalo, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, says his ministry is tasked with a series of exercises, among which are the truth-telling, establishing the facts, and to work on the report received from the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, where a government-wide paper is expected soon.
We are working on the white paper, which is due on or before the 25th of May. Now, what happens after the white paper? The white paper simply is a position paper of government. This is a document in which government will state its position and inform the public as to what its position is on each and every single recommendation contained in the TRRC report.
The Attorney General further states that based on the TRRC recommendations and report, many people will face the law.
We've confirmed over 60 towards close to 70, if not more, recommendations are contained in the report for prosecution. Now, there is no doubt that some people have to be prosecuted. They have to pay for what they have done, and that is clearly contained in the TRRC Act.
He then gave this advice to the participants at the training.
This is a life skill training for you. Forget about what you've learned in university. Concentrate on practitioners. They tell you how they do these things. We don't have the time. We will soon start working on the materials. As soon as the white paper is out, the next step is implementation. Even if we are going to rely on expertise from outside of the Gambia, like I started, we want those expertise to rub shoulders with you, and so that you develop your skills in the process.
Samuel Ade, a legal officer and a participant, shared his expectations after the training.
It's really going to enhance our capacity as defense attorneys in the Gambia, particularly when it has to do with offenses which have not been within our purview for a very long time, issues of torture, enforced disappearances, issues that have not been coming up before the Gambian courts. And because prosecution is anticipated in the Gambia, at least post the TRRC, we have some of those cases before us. And this training comes very handy to prepare us to be able to deliver.
Other speakers include Gay So, Executive Director of Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, a representative from the U.S. Embassy, and American Bar Association's Country Director for the Justice and Rights Program. At the end of the 4-day training, participants are expected to be conversant in the history of international crimes and the modern-day prosecution of these crimes at international level. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Now to some exciting news. A 29-year-old painter, Boubacar Cham of Sukuta, has caught the eye of many after his beautiful paintings and house decorations went viral on social media. QTV's Ansumana Isonyase visited him at his work in Sukuta, and he takes us through his journey.
He was faced with what he describes as the biggest yet most painful decision of his life, having to choose between furthering his education and depriving his siblings of the same opportunity, or dropping out of school and giving his siblings a chance in life due to his family's financial constraints. Boubacar Cham is a painter, artist and interior designer whose artistic work and house decorations are garnering fans within his native Sukuta and beyond. He may be getting many admirers lately, but he's had to take this difficult journey with no opportunities handed to him. With no work, trained skill or high school education, Babukar engaged in various activities to help his aging father and his financially struggling family survive. First, he tried apprenticeship. He helped masons mold blocks from which he made very little income, then sold ice block and even kaba. He also tried plumbing and sold cafe tuba just to fend for his family. With opportunities proving hard to come by and no idea what to do with his life, he is set to discover his true calling by turning to his God-given talents, painting and drawing. He tells me painting helped him process trauma, and in drawing, he found a platform to express his difficult feelings. I do a lot of research, but mostly I get my inspiration from things I see every day. Sometimes I try to create things I just imagine and then put it into practice. Mostly, the results are eye-catching, and I thank God for that. I have been through a lot, but in painting, I found freedom, and I am financially independent. We met Babukar in Sukuta as he was about to start work. With the help of his boys, he begins mixing paint while they do the groundwork. After about 2 hours of painting and designing, the result is stunning. I have boys here with me and a girl. Most of the boys are from Sukuta, but the girl is from Brikamaba in Siara. I am training them because I don't want to see kids idling around doing nothing. I don't want them to engage in any unlawful or meaningless activities that may destroy their lives. I know how I struggled to come this far, and I don't want them to go through the same struggle. Esa Jata, a 19-year-old artist, specializes in drawing and is one of many boys working with Babukar. He tells me that working with Babukar has transformed his life. I also tried many jobs. I had a salon and I also tried music and other petty jobs. I just wanted to help myself and to ease the burden on my parents. Working with Babukar has changed my life in many ways. I can earn a decent living and take care of my needs, especially my school materials, thanks to this painting work I am doing. Babukar, commonly called Don, also has a printing shop where he prints banners, shirts, amongst other things. Here we found a group of young people who also work at the shop. Once a hopeless young man, today Babukar is an inspiration and source of hope to children in his native Sukuta and beyond. He says his biggest inspiration is Q Group chairman Mohamed Jah, whom he sees as a visionary Gambian whose success can inspire many. Ansmane Sonyasi for KTV News.
Well, congratulations, Babukar Cham, there for that beautiful artwork and that exciting journey narrated by Ansumane Sonyasi. Now for a commercial break, and when we return, we'll still have some more local news stories for you, business and sports.
I am the light goddess. Everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q-Power. I am Q-Cell. I am Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, Q-Power, and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back and thank you very much if you're just joining us. This is QTV News. After 128 years of operations in the Gambia, Standard Chartered Bank has announced plans to exit the Gambia for larger markets for substantial profit. In an exclusive interview with QTV, the bank's chief executive officer assures customers that the bank is not yet closing up shop as normal operations continue. The exit process is yet to commence and will be subject to regulatory approval by the central bank. Modulamin Choi has the details.
There is an exit plan for Standard Chartered Bank, a business entity with a rich history of over a century's existence in the Gambia. The bank's operations in the country have reached a phase that will see it leave the country for substantial profit-making in larger markets. Here is Chuks Oga, the Chief Executive Officer of Standard Chartered Bank Gambia, explaining the development.
To the general public, what does it mean? It just means that the bank will divest itself of the existing shareholding that it has and sell to some potential buyers. Who the potential buyers are at this stage, we do not know. What has happened is the fact that the bank has just announced this is the action and this is the direction we want to go. The actual process of doing it has not started.
The strategic move announced by Standard Chartered Bank Limited will see the bank exiting 4 other African countries, namely Cameroon, Angola, Zimbabwe, and Sierra Leone, as well as 2 other markets in the Middle East, Lebanon and Jordan. The process to divest, that is to sell its share and leave the country, is subject to regulatory approval by the Central Bank of the Gambia. Local shareholders of the bank amount to nearly 25%.
We're the oldest bank in the country. And if I know correctly, we probably have the largest customer base in the country. So there's an emotional connection. I can tell you for sure that there's no need to panic. The bank will do the right thing by the staff, right thing by the customers, and most importantly, the right thing by the regulators.
The Britain-founded global financial company had announced by a press release that it is existing with these African and Middle East countries to improve profits by narrowing its focus to faster-growing markets in the region. On whether the bank's exit from the Gambia is linked to the country's socio-economic situation, this is the response from CEO Oga.
The conversations that are going on and saying that it has something to do with the economic situation of Gambia is not correct, is inaccurate. Nothing to do with that. This is just, by the way, the bank had stipulated this particular action in its 2001 financial statement. They had said that they are going to consolidate their businesses at the larger markets and rationalize their presence in the smaller markets. So it's something that is publicly stated in our 2021 financial statement. So as far as I know, from everything I've seen, there is no plan to do job losses. In fact, the instruction that we've gotten from group is that no staff will be laid off in this process. Salaries are not going to be reduced. Benefits and compensations are going to continue as it is.
Following the implementation of the planned exit from small markets on the continent, the bank's presence in Africa will drop to 10 from the current 15 countries. Standard Chartered Bank is known to be the first bank in the Gambia and one of the largest in the country. Its banking operations in the Gambia date back to 1894. Standard Chartered Bank is reported to have carried out many of the functions of the central bank and in 2002 was the only international bank in the Gambia. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Horse and donkeys are considered as beasts of burden in many developing countries, and they play a critical role, in supporting people's livelihoods in farming and transportation, amongst others. In this report by Dawn Williams, narrated by Babukar Sise, it looks at how others are earning a living in Farafenni in this exciting business using donkey carts.
Horses and donkeys can be used to do many useful things to generate income for the owner. In the Gambia, working horses and donkeys either pull carts, a plow, or other farm equipment. In Farafenni, in the North Bank region, using such animals to transport goods is becoming a lucrative business. Transporting goods to various destinations, including homes and markets, is cheaper than relying on public transport or other commercial motorized vehicles. Babakar C., a donkey cart driver, says he ventured in the business to support his family. However, he says most of these businesses don't operate without challenges. Every Sunday, many cart drivers come here to work and support their families. So there are many benefits we get here. Our main problem are the police in Senegal and the Gambia. We are paying daily taxes, but they disturb us a lot. All we want is to work and support our families and solve our problems. Mahmoud Kamara is a farmer who engaged in the horse cart transport business after harvesting his crops at the end of the rainy season to raise more money for the next farming season. The venture is very useful. This is where we get our feast money and take care of our children and pay for electricity bills. We are here day and night. It is where we feed our families. But the tax they ask us to pay is high, and they should reduce it to help us. This is our only means of income. Bakari Lo is also a horse cart taxi driver who lives in Makafarefenye. He tells us the importance of the business and the challenges he faces. All we want here is to get our feast money and pay our children's school fees and provide for other household needs. But when we are offloading the goods, they sometimes arrest us, charge us and release us. This is our biggest problem and they should help us. Some horse and donkey owners are also involved in collection of waste and taking it to dump sites. In fact, some tenants say removal of waste by donkey carts is their preferred waste management option, adding that there would be a huge garbage buildup if donkey carts become unavailable. In addition, the current increment in transport fees and the high price of fuel have increased the demand for horse and donkey carts, especially for the poor. Thus, socio-economic factors have a key role in determining the means of transport used in urban sites. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
From that report now to some exciting sports news. In sports news, the draw was made today for the next edition of the Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. And in that draw, you will realize that it's been very much exciting. And the Gambia is drawn in Group G, alongside Mali, Congo and South Sudan. So that's the draw for Group G in the Africa Cup of Nations. Well, obviously, several countries took part in this draw, and at the end of the day, Gambia, who are quarter-finalists in their maiden Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon, will again get into the qualifiers for the Ivory Coast competition, which will be held in 2023. And the qualifier starts in June, and in that June qualifiers, it's highly unlikely for Gambia to play its home match at the Independence Stadium because the stadium is not in good order. It's not in the best of shapes, both in terms of the pitch, in terms of also other facilities that are needed, required standards. So this stadium is under the blacklist of CAF as far as the matches of the qualifiers is concerned, unless and until it is improved. So in that draw, very much exciting. The likes of Solomon Kalou, former Ivory Coast international, and Chelsea midfielder was there. South Africa's Lucas Redibe was also a part of the draw, and some other people who were part of the draw as well. So this is the Gambia's group. In Group G, it's Mali, Congo, and Gambia and South Sudan. So 4 teams in each group and 2 teams will qualify. That is the top 2 teams in these qualifiers. For those of you who doubt which Congo is this is Congo Brazzaville. The other Congo is DRC Congo, or if you like, DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo. So, but this particular Congo that the Gambia is drawn in the same group with is Congo Brazzaville. So that's the draw in Group G. Mali, Congo, Gambia and South Sudan. Mali is a familiar opponent, of course. We've met them previously, even in the past Africa Cup of Nations. So we're looking forward to that. But that's it on the draw. Now a recap of our main headlines. Following the commencement of the construction of roads ahead of the 2022 OIC Summit, QTV visited parts of the project to see the progress registered so far and speak to those involved in and public opinion. 40 legal staff of the Ministry of Justice on Tuesday began a 4-day training on international criminal law and international human rights law. We look at beautiful paintings and house decorations by Babukar Cham, a 29-year-old painter from Sukuta, which caught the eye of many. After this, his work went viral on social media. Also in business news, after 128 years of operations in the Gambia, Standard Chartered Bank has announced plans to exit the Gambia for larger markets for substantial profit. We hear from the bank's CEO, that is the Chief Executive Officer, about the exit process. Also in business news, we've looked at the critical role horses and donkeys play in supporting people's livelihoods in farming and transportation of people and goods in the North Bank region. And finally, we've talked about the draw for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, which will be played in Ivory Coast, where the Gambia is drawn in Group G. It's Gambia, Mali, Congo, and South Sudan. That's it for QTV News. Thank you very much for watching, and join us tomorrow for more news. Bye for now. Have a pleasant night.